Hey guys, what's up? It's BigJackFilms here, and welcome to another opening night. Again, I am on my own for this one, because I saw this tonight, and my friend who saw it with me had to leave. So, here I am on my own again in the car talking about this movie, and today's movie we're going to be talking about is Jumanji Return to the Jungle, or it's Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle. I gotta remember the Guns N' Roses song because they promoted the shit out of it. I know I did say on the poll on my channel that the next opening night would be Pulp Fiction, but I actually saw this first, so whatever happens next, I'm probably going to do Pulp Fiction because I have not seen that movie, and it's something I do want to do for the opening night, is actually ask you guys, get requests of, what would you guys like me to watch, because I feel like I want to keep this series up, because I feel like there's a couple of people who like it. So, anyway, Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle. This is the sequel, kind of slash reboot to Jumanji, the original 1996 film starring the late great Robin Williams. Now, as a kid, I grew up with the original Jumanji. I don't remember if I saw it in theaters, but I do remember seeing it on home video, and it scared the shit out of me. As a kid in the 90s, I was actually really scared of a lot of stuff, even some kids' movies back then, really freaked me out, like Batman and Jumanji, Jurassic Park. A lot of those really freaked me out as a kid, but I remember as a kid, I was, it freaked me out, but as time has gone on, I love it and love it even more. Even though the CGI on the first one is kind of outdated, there is a certain charm to it because it's right after Jurassic Park. This is ILM doing the special effects for it, and they just got a bunch of jobs doing all this CGI creature work. So I overall felt honestly, the best special effects in those movies were not only the practical stuff, the animatronic crocodile, the lion suit, which is amazing. That freaked me out the most. But especially the stampede in the house and outside. I think those effects still kind of hold up. I still think they still look pretty decent. Robin Williams is great. Kirsten Dunst is in it. I love the Hunter dude. But overall, great movie directed by Joe Johnston of Jurassic Park 3 fame. So, when I heard they were making a sequel, not only 20 years after the first one, but also after the death of Robin Williams, I'm like, this is just Sony looking for a cash grab. This is just Sony cashing in on it, and it's really insulting. I was so just not for this movie at all. I felt it was just going to be the same fucking shit as Ghostbusters, where the new recent Ghostbusters reboot, where it was just cash grab, product placement, whatever. And then I saw that, people like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who I like, is in it, Jack Black, who I like, is in it, Kevin Hart, who I think is really funny, and they're all in this movie. I'm like, what the fuck? They're putting all these big name actors, and and then I see the trailers, and I'm like, okay, this just looks like another fucking Ghostbusters. This just looks like it's just gonna be a cash grab to cash in on the licensing that Sony has. So, I had no faith in this movie, honestly. I had no faith in it. I felt it was just gonna crash, burn, and Star Wars was just going to be the main focus of December. I'm surprised it even went ahead releasing in December, since nobody goes against a Star Wars movie. So I had no hope for this movie. I didn't even think if they were even good. My only saving grace with this film was how the fuck were they going to explain the transfer from the board game to a goddamn plug-and-play console. And I heard early reviews that they didn't explain it, and then I'm like, done. I don't even want to see this movie. It's just going to crash and burn. It's not a sequel. It's a reboot. But I was convinced by two things. One was my buddy Bernard Kier, Brachio Engine on YouTube, linked below to his channel, who saw the movie and said they do kind of explain it. And I'm like, okay, maybe I will check it out. I don't know. And so I went to hang out with a friend of mine in the city, and we just decided to go see the movie on the VIP lounge or whatever, because, I like to treat friends to stuff. But anyway, so we sit down, we see the movie. I was actually really surprised how good it is. Oh my god! This is hands down, honestly, the most surprising movie of the year of 2017. I know it's 2018, but I'm seeing this a little late. But oh my god, it was actually very clever, it was action-packed, it was funny, the effects were great, the cast was great. I was really surprised. Like, this does not suck, guys. Go see this movie. It's not only a really good sequel, but it also just, like, takes, like, this, they're taking Jumanji and they're just having fun with it. It's almost like, because the very beginning of the movie, I should explain what the plot is. The movie opens immediately after the first one, where the board game is on a beach and the drum beat and everything. And that was the first shot in the movie. I'm like, okay, we're on the right track. Like, the first shot, I'm like, we're on the right track. Let's see what happens. So, this kid in 1996, right after the first one, grabs the board game out of the beach and brings it home and shows it to his brother or something, I can't remember. But, the kid takes the game and he's holding it and he says, "Who plays board games anymore?" For me, that is really sad, because I still play a fair share of board games. Like chess, I still play chess, I still play Monopoly, love the shit out of Crossfire, no doubt thanks to the internet making that popular again. I got myself a Crossfire board. I did actually have the Jumanji board game when it came out, because I was hoping it was going to be like the movie. It was false advertising. I mean, it's a fucking board game, no magical powers or whatever. But I had the board game, and I had fun with that game. I played a lot of board games. So for me, that was kind of sad, because it's true, because every kid now doesn't play board games. They just play video games. And what do you know? The kid immediately looking at the board game, not to mention a badass-looking board game. Like, what board games look like this? Tosses it aside and starts playing his PlayStation 1. And obviously, it's a Sony movie, so you have to have that product placement in there. But there he is playing his PlayStation 1. And it's almost like he says, "Who plays board games anymore?" Throws it away, starts playing. And then it cuts to a shot of the game, just anonymously just like panning in on the game and just looking very suspicious. And you can almost tell like the board game was like, "Oh, really? Nobody plays board games anymore, huh? Well, I'll show you, you little shit." So, immediately cutting to the next scene, the board game does not necessarily transfer to a game console, but it becomes a game console. And it comes with a cartridge and everything. And not only, this is a big surprise for me, because here you've got a movie that is made by Sony that is obviously promoting things like the PlayStation 1 and the recent PlayStation 4. Why does the board game take on the form of a Nintendo Famicom? I think that is actually interesting, given this is Sony. You think they would make it like a PlayStation or something. But no, it's a fucking, like, Nintendo Famicom, and I guarantee now, somebody out there is going to take a Famicom and modify it into the Jumanji console, and I would love to have one of those. I don't have a Famicom, but it'd be really cool to have a Jumanji Famicom. That'd be really interesting. So, anyway, the kid disappears, big shock, and we then cut to the present day time, and now we're with a bunch of high school kids. You got your Jewish kid, your black kid, your hot chick, you got the nerdy chick, and they all kind of come from different points of view, and they, basically, go to detention together. They have to clean up this attic, and what do you know? They find the game. They find the console, and they start playing it. And when I bring up the fact that it's a Famicom console, oh shit, we got the lights here. Hang on. No! The Jumanji! They can't do this! We're gonna get sucked into the game! Okay, there we go. So, as I was saying, so basically they grab the Jumanji Famicom, as I'm gonna call it, and they start playing. But given it's a Famicom, like, I was talking to my friend next to me, I'm like, oh my god, it's a Famicom. And then they say, what is this, some sort of old Nintendo console? And I'm like, close enough. I just thought that was really funny when I was in the theater. So, they start playing the game, and they start basically, choosing their character, their avatars. And then all of a sudden, they're sucked into the game. And this is an interesting twist on the Jumanji franchise, because in the first movie, the game came to our world, essentially. Now we're going into the Jumanji world. And that's something I really liked about this movie, is that it expands the mythology and the, you know, magic of the power of Jumanji the game, that there's actually a world inside the game. And I thought that was absolutely terrific how they're able to do that. So so again, it's a good sequel. But it immediately jumps to the comedy, and not only comedy, fucking brilliant comedy, because all the kids transfer into their avatars, which include Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Jack Black, Kevin Hart, and I forget who the other actress's name, I apologize. But anyway, so they're all in these avatars. And the Jewish kid is The Rock. You got the black kid, obviously, is Kevin Hart. You got the nerdy girl as, you know, the Tomb Raider girl. But god damn it, the hot girl, the hot high school chick, is Jack Black. And oh my god, Jack Black makes this movie fucking hilarious. He is obviously the best character in the movie because it's Jack Black playing a teenage, hot high school chick. And just the comedy works so well. And every time he says something, it's super funny. And I haven't laughed at a movie this hard in a long-ass time. Normally a movie I really laugh at my ass off is something like one of the Jackass movies, which I go with my dad to see. And we laugh really hard at those. But this is the first time I've laughed at a comedy, and, like, it was fucking hilarious. Me and my friend were just sitting there laughing our asses off, and we could hear people in the back just screeching the whole time. The jokes work, and it's brilliant. But anyway, so basically the rest of the plot is they have to basically beat the game, but it's like a video game. And that's another thing. This movie is probably going to be the best video game ever because it doesn't really use any licensed video game franchises. It does its own thing, and therefore makes it fun for the viewer, and especially those who play video games. So it's got things like, you know, the levels, you got health bars, life bars, you've got the 3 lives and you're done. You can use your lives to revive another person. You've got shit like, you know, like packages, like it's kind of like Zelda where you have the infinite bag. So it's all these great nods to classic video games, and I absolutely loved it for that. So I'll just get it out of the way. So, like, first of all, it's a fun adventure movie, but it's a very comedic adventure. You know, the characters are great. Of course, The Rock and Kevin Hart and Jack Black and all those guys, they're great in the movie. There's a lot of great nods to the original, especially the beginning. There's the hunter guy who's played by a different actor, but he's actually really damn good in this and kind of plays the part well for kind of this sequel reboot. And of course, there's a great tribute to Robin Williams in the form of Alan Parrish's jungle house that he lived in when he was stuck for 20 years in the game. And I thought that was a nice little nod without, like, overshadowing it a lot, like, not overdoing it. It was just one shot, one reference, and it just made the audience go, "Oh, that's so cute." The effects are okay. It doesn't feel like ILM. It feels more like this is Sony and their effects group who do a lot of the stuff for Spider-Man and shit, taking over the reins for the effects on this one, which is a shame because I kind of wish ILM did the work on this, although they were probably busy with a fuckload of effects movies over the summer and Star Wars and whatnot. The music's okay. I wish they had brought back the iconic James Horner soundtrack for this film. It's funny because Brachio InGen on YouTube, when I talked to him, when he saw the movie, he said they actually used some cues from Somewhere Over the Rainbow from Wizard of Oz. And thinking about that while listening to the score, I heard that a couple times. I'm like, that's interesting that they used the Wizard of Oz soundtrack in a movie about people running in the jungle away from people on motorcycle bikes, guns, and rhinos and elephants and shit. So there's a lot with this movie that's really good. Oh, okay. I never thought in a million years I would ever laugh at a penis joke. Because penis jokes, guys, I'm so sick of them. They are so overused. They're half the time, or if any at the time, they're not funny. And they're used on kids' films and everything. I won't say what the joke is, but it does involve Jack Black. It is the funniest goddamn penis joke I've ever heard in my life, and it works really well. There's other humor. Kevin Hart is great. You know, you've got all these great comedic actors, and they kind of come together in that sense. So, overall, it's a fun adventure. I should mention one thing. for any King Kong fans, especially 2005 Kong fans, obviously Jack Black is in the movie and he has that kind of Carl Denham-esque costume and everything in the film. There is a surprise cameo from another Kong 2005 actor, and I'm guarantee it was probably a Jack Black decision to put him in this thing. I won't say what the cameo is, but it's very prestigious. That's the only hint I'm gonna give. So, for any Kong fans, you'll definitely pick that up in the film as well. I mean, granted, the movie is also very cliche. This is kind of the downside, is that some of the cliches are a little, you know, cliche jungle adventure stuff. Like, the one, I've started to notice this in a few jungle movies, and I'm actually starting to get sick of it, is when they're running in the jungle, and then they come to an edge of a cliff, and the only way down, there's no way out, and the only way down is to jump into a pool of water as the bad guys come after them. First of all, I'm so sick of that happening in these jungle movies. Just like, oh, we've run to a cliff, there's only a pool of water, and the bad guys are behind us. What do? Let's jump! And they do it, you know? Every single jungle movie's done that. But also, here's my biggest issue. You know, this cliché's been done to death. Why don't the fucking bad guys just go down to that area and get them? You know, or shoot the water or something, you know? Like, this cliché is so silly. And it just kind of bugged me on that sense, just how, like, it's, that cliche is just everywhere, and I'm just kind of sick of it. But, aside from that, guys, there isn't really much in the movie. Like, I mean, overall, I think it's a decent sequel, and it's a fun ride. I should mention the trailers before I go. We did get a couple trailers. We got, Ready Player One, which I want to see. That looks so good. And probably, obviously, because Kong's in it, but also because it's a war of all these fucking copyrighted characters in this ultimate battle, and I've been wanting to see this for, like, ever. And I'm sorry, but they fucking stole my idea for a multi-crossover universe. But that looks amazing. What are some other trailers we got? I can't really remember what were the other trailers. I think we got a couple of award movie trailers. We got the Ridley Scott All the Money in the World movie. We got I, Toyota with Margot Robbie. But aside from that, yeah, there wasn't much trailers. So my final thoughts is, guys, go see the movie. It's a decent sequel that pays tribute to the original and connects it really well at the very beginning, and then afterwards they say, guys, we're making a Jumanji movie. Let's have some fun here. Let's get some good actors, and let's just have a fun jungle adventure with the material. So that's overall what it is. It's a fun, funny, hilarious jungle adventure comedy and a really good sequel to the original. Now, I don't want a third one. I think it's fine just as it is. I mean, for God's sakes, they destroyed the game at the end by just smashing it with a bowling ball. I didn't know that a board game powers were that easy to kill. So, I'd say go check it out, guys. And I think it's actually just made #1 on the box office this weekend. But you can probably catch it as a matinee, is what I would do. It's just one of those movies. You don't want to see this on, like, a night showing or whatever. It is more for the kids, and it's something for the family to enjoy. So overall, like, it's overall surprise hit, and I'd give it maybe about a good, I don't know, 7, 8 out of 10. It's worth checking out, and it's just overall a fun time at the movies. So that's it for this opening night, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I want to know your thoughts on Jumanji. Let me know in the comments section below. Next time, I will be reviewing Pulp Fiction, hopefully. And if you guys have any older movies you want... Oh, shit, we're already running out of time here. If you guys have any other movies you want me to review, old or new, and doing it in this opening night fashion, let me know in the comment section below, and maybe I'll put them in one of these videos. So that's it, guys. Until the next video, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys later. This is BigJackFilms, signing off.